Hello and welcome to the first official Elements of Tarot video. I am just going to be discussing what the tarot means to me as a tarot reader. What you will discover is that every reader will see the tarot in a different way. They will see what it can actually do, what they prefer to use it for in a completely different way. For me specifically, I shy away from it being like this mundane fortune-telling device of like you're going to meet a tall, handsome man, you are going to come into some money very soon, and I like to see it more as a tool for reflection. The best way that I would describe this is dreams. Basically, when you wake up and you start to recall these dream images, basically these random images that flooded your mind, it's kind of like your unconscious is communicating with you in some way by allowing those images to just flow through. And then your conscious mind, when you wake up, is trying to grasp the meaning of these dreams, trying to gauge your feelings, your thoughts, your mind, your internal environment. Most people, they'll use dream dictionaries, they'll use symbols to kind of try to decipher what exactly it means. Of course, dream dictionaries are very broad, but there's also the individual's experience where certain symbols specifically will mean something to you that won't be a broader meaning that applies to lots of other people. That part is very important to me because when I do a reading, there's a lot of back and forth between myself and the person who is requesting the reading, because I don't do a reading to show you how cool and how psychic I am and how much I already know without you telling me. That is not the purpose of me doing a reading, because I do not charge for my readings. I don't have an ego about it. The purpose of the readings is to get to the root of what you are trying to communicate to yourself, what your unconscious mind is trying to tell your conscious mind in some way. So I will ask lots of questions and try to get to the bottom of why you pulled this card, what this means to you. Even though, especially especially since I do the readings now mostly just at my Twitter spaces, I'm not physically present with the person, I still see it as the person pulling those cards through simple law of attraction. I know for some people it's very spooky how accurate it can be, but it's very simple synchronicity. You're going to attract towards you things that are like you. So you're going to attract towards you the message that you need to hear, the most poignant message, the one that reflects you at that moment in time. So even if I'm the one doing the reading, I see the reader as more of just like this vessel of sorts, and the central person is the person who is receiving the reading. So that is how I see the tarot. Definitely the reader is just this catalyst. The sort of reading you have, though, of course, is very dependent on the person reading and how they see the tarot. So if you're going to get a reading, I would definitely go to the person who sees it in a similar way that you do. Not something that is going to frighten you or that you're not going to agree with. I know that the tarot already seems very spooky to some people, especially like in movies. Anytime somebody reads the tarot, especially in a horror movie, it's always like someone pulls the death card and it's like, oh no, and it's always taken this very literal way, like someone is going to die. Um, but yeah, for me, it's definitely a tool for reflection. And the reader is not so special. It's really the person who is having the reading done, who is attracting a certain message to themselves. And the reader can just be helpful in interpreting that, maybe because they're just more comfortable with the tarot, maybe because they just have a lot of experience with symbols. Me personally, I've always been really into symbolism, and analyzing literature and dream symbols and things like that, archetypes. So I'm just familiar with a lot of images. I'm familiar with the tarot, so reading cards comes easily to me in that sense, so that I can kind of just help trigger certain responses from the reader of, oh yeah, that does make sense, and allow them to kind of expand on that thought and make a connection with the cards, make a connection with the image, and get the most out of the message that they can. So basically what the tarot means to me, the tarot for me is just a mirror. Is it the truth? No, I do not think that the tarot is the truth. I think that it is just a reflection. It reflects your feelings, your thoughts, the way that you see things. And there's often suggestions. Those are usually very helpful. But is it the truth per se? No, it's not a law. It's not like you definitely have to follow this. It's really just showing you where you are. But I do think that that is very helpful. If you have this mirror where you can kind of see inside yourself, that is obviously very helpful, to see where you are mentally, emotionally, psychically, or however you would describe it, or spiritually. That can be a really helpful tool, because whatever we carry on the inside, we're going to externalize in some form. In that sense, you can say that it is a future teller of sorts, only in the sense that card A shows you where you are, card B shows how you are reacting to something, how you are feeling about something, and then card C will show the likely outcome of that behavior, of those feelings that you're carrying. Because you're carrying certain feelings, you're going to behave a certain way, and if you behave a certain way, this is the most likely outcome. Yes, in that sense, it can sort of tell the future, but the future is not immutable. The future is definitely something that is always changing. It's kind of like water. It's like the world of thoughts. It's not something that has come into being. It never really comes into being because we're always experiencing the present moment. But before I get too lost in that, absolutely the future is always changing because you internally are changing. And if you can bring awareness to something, if you can bring awareness of a certain habit or certain thoughts that you are carrying, you can absolutely change that. If you can become aware that you have a very low vibration, as you would call it, like very, very, if you're falling into a habit of just moping about something, brooding, and being in a very dark place, if you can see that the cards are reflecting that, you can bring awareness to that, and you can snap out of it, and you can feel differently and change things. It's not always easy, but that's kind of the whole purpose of the tarot, is to bring awareness to yourself, to bring awareness to your internal environment, and to just kind of tune out the outside world and tune in. Which is why I specifically love to use the Osho Zen Tarot. It's less mundane. It's less about, meeting a tall, handsome stranger and coming into some money. And it's more about, where am I in my personal journey? How am I feeling about this? How am I responding to this? What baggage am I carrying? What am I projecting onto the situation? Those are the questions. Those are the kind of readings that to me are really useful to us, that are really substantial in a reading. Because those other mundane things, if your internal environment does not match those things, if you don't take joy in those things, then those mundane things happening, like, oh, you win money and this happens to you, that's not going to affect you in a positive way. You're not going to respond to it in a positive way anyway. So yes, in that sense, it can be a future teller, but really it is a reflection. It is a mirror, and it is a tool that can help bring awareness. So that is one reason I like to hold weekly spaces, Tarot Tuesdays, because I think that the tarot can be a really great reminder. You can read the cards and you can see that you're falling into these dumb habits. You can start to recognize your patterns, your mental patterns more and more, your emotional patterns more and more, your emotional baggage more and more, and realize when you're falling into a mental trap that is not going to help you. So in that sense, absolutely, the tarot is a tool for awareness. It's a tool for introspection, for reflection. And to me, it is extremely useful in that sense. And it is absolutely a really great reminder that can wake you up and help you kind of just snap out of it when you're falling into these negative mental traps. I do have people that think that it's like very spooky when it's very accurate. I am going to do my best to kind of try to demystify the tarot. And I do think that you can absolutely do readings for yourself. And I do hope to help you do readings for yourself in the future. So that is what the tarot means to me. And this will be the first of many tarot videos. It's something that I have been interested in for a very long time. My approach to it is my own. It's probably not unique in any way, but I do think that it can be very helpful, this approach towards the tarot. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.